Okay, guys, it's been a tough day, but I didn't put my GoPro, so I missed this. But guys, it's a monster. Hello and welcome to another episode of Preacher Man TV. I am Pastor J. This one should be quite interesting. Well, some time ago I did a video called I Want a Kayak. Well, the Lord saw it fit for me to have one. I'm now the owner of an Old Town Sportsman Salty 120 PDL pedal drive kayak. I've had it for a few weeks now and it took me some time to gather all the accessories for it. For instance, I decided to put in a fish finder. I got a Garmin Striker 4 fish finder, the cheapest one in the market, and I got some scupper valves, an anchor, an extra rod holder, a life jacket, safety first, and I got mounts for the transducer and for the fish finder itself. In reality, I could have gone out and tested the kayak a few weeks ago, but I kept putting it off. To be honest, I was a bit intimidated by the possibility of going out there alone. You see, no one else that goes fishing with me has a kayak. We're working on that. So, I had to go alone. As for the site of my potential launch, I really did not know the depths. I didn't have any good fishing numbers. You don't just go out there and throw a line and expect a fish to bite. You need to know what you're looking for. You need to know where to go. So in the spirit of total transparency, I confess I was a tad bit scared, afraid of the unknown. All the what ifs started popping up in my mind. I read the literature that came with the kayak and it said, do not go out alone. I wondered about the stability of the kayak, and if I'd flip in deep water, I know that the kayak I own is pretty sturdy and I could stand in it without any trouble at all. But the fact that I've never done this before provided enough doubt to cause me concern. Last week, I had enough of my procrastination. I had good reason to not go because I was still waiting for the transducer mount. I was told that it would come in on Friday. I wanted to go on Thursday, so I had to unfortunately cancel my trip. Lo and behold, when I got home from church on Wednesday night, the mount was in the mail. I deliberated a bit, but I knew I had enough of the excuses. It was time to face my fear. So the next morning, I decided to mount the transducer. The mount I bought broke while I was trying to install it. I think they sent me the wrong thing. I installed the original transducer mount and decided to keep on with my mission. Then I pulled the kayak down from the ceiling to lower it to the top of my car. It was only at that point I realized that if I did strap it onto the hood of my car, then I wouldn't be able to drive out because it would hit the garage door. So I had to lower the kayak, roll it out to the driveway, and get it up on the hood of the car manually. I had help. One of the lawn maintenance guys helped me out. Praise Jesus for that. Nothing was going right that entire morning. Then I went to Chick-fil-A so I could have some lunch in my bag since I was going to spend a day out there. When I got there, I realized, wait a minute, I forgot my nets at home to catch bait, so I had to go back. When I finally got on the road, I had to pull over a couple times because I realized that I needed to tie the kayak down better. Eventually, I got to a bait shop and I asked the guy in the bait shop some advice. He was very helpful. One of the things that I did to help me to muster the courage to go into kayak fishing in the first place is research. I read, I looked at a lot of YouTube videos and I asked people about it. The right knowledge could put you in the right frame of mind. Always remember that. So I researched everything, even how to put the kayak on the hood of the car and how to use an anchor. Even things I already knew, I double checked. It's important to do that. I eventually got to the launch point. It was empty. Thank you, Jesus. A sense of relief washed over my soul. After all, I made it so far. Then I realized that I had to take the kayak down from the car on my own. So I took it down. By the time I was done, I was sweating profusely. Then I had to install the seat, the fish finder, the pedal drive, the battery, the anchor, put in the coolers, put the kayak on the cart, place the rods in the holders, get my net and put my tackle backpack in. By the time I was done doing all that stuff, it was 2 p.m. Man, I was exhausted and dehydrated. The sun was merciless. When I got to the boat ramp, I slipped and almost fell, but I caught myself. I put the boat in the water, dropped the kayak cart back in the car, and jumped into the kayak. I was finally on the water, ready to begin my journey. The water, though calm, looked somewhat intimidating. I was heading out into the unknown. Then my left hand started cramping up. So I rehydrated and after a few minutes I was fine again. I decided to drive down the waterline and cast along the mangroves to see what was in there. I did not realize that the water was not near as deep as I thought it was. The fish finder was showing me that I was in about 2 feet of water. I almost got stuck. This was not what I expected. I paddled my way looking for deeper water, could hardly find that. I worked my way across the bay and came to a cove. I came out of the kayak, but no luck. Fish were jumping everywhere, but nothing, and I mean nothing, took my bait. That was frustrating. I tried artificial lures, nothing worked. In the midst of beginning to think how frustrating this trip was becoming, I remembered why I was out there in the first place. You see, I remember thinking initially that being out there on a calm, peaceful day would be an ideal way to spend time with the Lord. So that is what I did. I drove out into the open water and simply allowed my kayak to drift as I spent time with the Lord and ate my Chick-fil-A sandwich. Trust me, it was definitely worth it. In the middle of my Jesus time on the water, I did not realize that I had no fear, no trepidation. It was just me and my God. The sun began to sink way too soon. I slowly began to make my way back out. I found a deeper channel and I decided to try to follow it back to the boat ramp. As I smoothly pedaled my way back toward the ramp, off in the distance, I noticed something. I noticed movement on the water. I stopped and threw my line, and lo and behold, a monster speckled trout took the line. It was an awesome fight and I landed him safely. I spent the rest of the evening in that spot getting hit after hit. There were monsters beneath the surface there. It was awesome. Awesome fishing. After catching that fish, I was so grateful to the Lord because all I could feel was His love for me. There was nothing like fear there anymore because in 1 John 4:18 says, there is no fear in love, but perfect love casteth out fear, because fear had torment. He that feareth is not made perfect in love. Now, kayak fishing could be dangerous, and I do believe I had some legitimate reasons to be cautious. Still, if we let fear dictate the way we live, we would miss out on so much. You would never have any new experiences, and you'd probably never ever catch the big one. If you want to overcome your fear, there are some things you must realize. First, remember that the Lord loves you. That alone is enough to drive out fear. Next, acquire knowledge. Don't just resolve to be afraid of a thing. Research, gather information concerning that which is bringing fear, and perhaps you'll find that your fears were totally unfounded and irrational. Last but not least, move. It is imperative that you move and not let fear paralyze you. I realized that though I had some reservations, it was important that I keep moving, keep building, keep researching, keep trying. I think I really learned that lesson when I first planted Hope Affiliate Church. There were days when things were intimidating and the mission seemed daunting, but we kept moving, we kept on working, we kept on believing, we kept on trying. Even today, it's still not where we want it to be, but I don't know if it ever will. But we will keep on moving and working as long as we have breath in this body. So, I pray that the Lord will give me many good days on my good old trusty kayak. And I know that I still have a lot to learn. Also, I will never become so comfortable that I become complacent, but I am determined to never let fear keep me from experiencing all that the Lord has planned for me. Neither should you let the unknown keep you from doing, learning, or trying something new. Now think about that.
I'm wading through this water, Lord, for better or for worse. In all my ways, I'm putting Jesus first. With love in every line, in every song, in every verse.